Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And thanks for the chance given to me. I am Faida and I'm going to present the proposal about the effect of word chain fun game on students' vocabulary achievement at the first grade students of junior high school Wundulako, written by Sukmawati. And I divide my presentation into three parts. The first is introduction, and the second is literature review, and the last is methodology of research. Okay, we move in the first part about introduction. In here, there are 2 points. The first is background. The background of this research is, as we know, English is the most important language in the world, which used in many people all over the world. So students need vocabulary which can support them to produce and use meaningful sentences because vocabulary provides organ sentences, and the more vocabulary students learn and the more ideas they should have. So in communication, students can using their ideas more effectively, and teacher can also apply this material in using games. Okay, we move in the second point is objective of the study is to know whether there was or not significant effect of watching fun game on student vocabulary achievement the first grade of junior high school Wundulako. We move in the second part is about literature review. In here there are 6 points. The first is about vocabulary. As we know, learning language cannot be separated from learning vocabulary. Vocabulary supports the speaker to express their opinions, ideas, and feelings in communication. Every language has the number of words that will used by humans to communicate, and it mostly concludes the vocabulary is all the words or the total number of words owned by the speaker or the writer to communicate with others. Okay, and the second point is type of teaching vocabulary. Linguistics classify vocabulary into 2 kinds, namely receptive vocabulary and productive vocabulary. And the third point is teaching vocabulary. Maybe you think teaching vocabulary is the material easy to teach, but teaching vocabulary is not easier as we think. Hence, the teacher have to recognize the student's competence and characteristic is need. Okay, and the fourth point is target of vocabulary. Target of vocabulary is the number of vocabulary that students must be mastered, and it can be measured by vocabulary test. Okay, and the fifth point is definition of game. As we know, game is a media, for instance, and is one of several media that creates a set of conditions in order to abide some rules and may well to involve in efficient way. Games is an activity with rules and element of fun. They use game in learning environment not only change the dynamic of the class but also rejuvenates the student and helps brain to learn more effectively. And the last point is concept of word chain fun game. A word chain fun game is a kind of game that appropriate to apply in teaching vocabulary in junior high school level. This game using a body as a media, and word chain fun game is simple, easy, and funny way to teaching vocabulary. Okay, and the last part of this research is about methodology of research. In here, there are 3 points. The first is design of the study, apply pre-experimental design, and this the study apply pre-experimental design, which involve in one group pre-test and post-test, and technique of collecting data just to the first is pre-test and treatment, and the last is technique of analyzing data was analyzed by use descriptive and inferential statistics. I think that's all for my presentation. And if you have a question, please raise your hand and mention your name. Nur Intan?
Yes, thank you for teaching. I want to ask about, based on your slide about methodology of research, in the third point about technique of analyzing data, there are two statistics. The first about descriptive and the second about inferential. And I want to ask about descriptive statistic. Can you explain what is descriptive statistic?
Okay. Your question is about what is descriptive. Descriptive analysis is used to describe the maximum and minimum, score, mean, deviation, standard, and range score. I think just that for my answer. Okay, and the other? Okay, Phil.
Okay. According in linguistic vocabulary classified in two kinds. The first recentive vocabulary and the second is productive vocabulary. So what the difference between recentive vocabulary and productive vocabulary?
Okay, the difference of receptive vocabulary and productive vocabulary, right?
Yes.
Okay, a receptive vocabulary refers to the words or lexical words, and which can be recognized and comprehend in context of listening and reading. Meanwhile, the productive refers to words which can use in speaking and writing. I think that's all for my answer. And the next question.
Okay, what the aspects should be paid attention by the teacher in presenting vocabulary?
Okay, there are 5 aspects that should be attention by the teacher. The first is pronunciation and spelling, and the second is grammatical rules, and the third is collocation, and the fourth is aspect of meaning, and the last is word formation. Okay, and the next question, please. Okay, Novianti.
Okay, thanks for the chance. My question is, what the sentence if you use word change find games in teaching vocab?
Your question, what the advantage, right?
Okay.
Yes. Student will be more interested and active during the process of teaching, and then students will be more pay attention and will be more easy to memorize the words because of the interest and motivation will by applying this game, and the games also give more chance to the student who they shy to boil their self-confidence.
Okay.
And the next question. Okay, Nur Hasbian.
Okay, thanks very much for the opportunity. Can you explain the design of study?
Okay. The the design of this study is, firstly, this design is short time. Secondly, this design is more manageable, and the last, this design is more convenient than any design involving two or more groups. I think that's my answer. And thanks for your attention in my presentation today. And if I have mistake on my words, I'm so sorry. And I close with wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.